Alright guys, welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. My name is Raven from the Sky, and let's do this. Alright, so we're going to make the right decision. Well, we did make the right decision, and we're going to go first. Please, he continued, we have no idea what we might run into. If I think they're going to try to run off again, I'll give some signal. Then you can come along, and I doubt they'll be interested in leaving then. Hitomi gave a reluctant nod. Please be careful. Will do. And tell me if my sister's in there. I will. You can count on it. Aichi stepped out into the open and started walking toward the van. He tried his best to look as if he wasn't paying any attention. Yep, I'm just an ordinary passerby. He got nearer. As he got nearer, he tried to sneak a glimpse inside. The van's dark window film made it hard to see who might be inside or even how many people. Casually, he moved closer, still to get a better look. Suddenly, the sliding door burst open and several people jumped out. None of them were Japanese. Within moments, Aichi was surrounded. Whoa, what? Hey, what's the deal? Aichi said. He let out a little chuckle. Man, that thing must be packed. How many seats you got in that thing anyway? He took another step toward the vehicle and looked inside. Oh! One of the men pulled a knife from inside his jacket, thrusting it out in Aichi's direction. He probably meant it as a simple threat, but on reflex, Aichi went into self-defense mode, kicking him right in the jaw. There was a loud crack as his foot connected. The man dropped out like a light. The other stared, then rushed him. Well, this sure hadn't gone as planned. Too late to take it back now. The damage was done. Aichi was just gonna have to take out the rest of these punks too. He nimbly shifted his feet, evading their initial attack. Having to take these guys on 3-1 wasn't gonna be pretty. Aichi! He heard Hitomi cry out. Crap! He hadn't given any signal, but she had come out of hiding anyway. Hitomi, stay back! How was he supposed to fight all three guys and protect her at the same time? What could he do? Here we go again. I know it's coming. What should he do? Here we go. In moments, a number of passerbys had gathered around the fight. Maybe they'd heard Hitomi shouting, "Hey, what's going on? Oh my God, is that a knife? This ain't just some petty squabble. Someone call the police." Some of them began taking photos with their cell phones. One of them men cursed in frustration, then signaled for his buddies to get back into the car. Aichi couldn't stop them. The engine roared to life and the van sped away. Knowing he'd never catch them on foot, Aichi merely watched it go. He'd failed. This was his fault, all of it. Aichi bit his lip hard. How could he possibly face Hitomi now? Aichi. Hitomi's voice was hollow, empty. Aichi stared down at his feet like a scolded child. I'm sorry, I didn't see whether your sister was in there or not. I see. The word so simple and matter of fact stung him to the heart. I'm so sorry. But Hitomi simply shook her head. The fact that she wasn't even chewing him out made him feel all the worse. I know, I messed up, but he was going to say I'll make it up for it somehow, but he froze with fear at what he saw next. Oh, this guy again. Across the street, staring at him, was the man with the cane. Hitomi, it's him! They had to get out of here. He grabbed Hitomi by the hand and bolted down Dogenzaga. The assassin followed, staying on his side of the road. I actually wasn't sure what to do. Should they try heading into the alleys and side streets again? No, it was more dangerous to head someplace where there'd be fewer witnesses. Best to stick to Dogenzawa for now. The man wouldn't be able to gun them down if they managed to lose themselves in the crowd along Center Guy first. Besides, the guy had to use a cane. Aichi and Hitomi could outrun him. Hand in hand, they sped along Dogenzaga and through the intersection in front of the 109 building. Come on, Hitomi, just a little further. Okay. She was panting, but she pressed on. Aichi risked a glance back over his shoulder. Huh? He stopped in surprise. What's wrong? Hitomi asked. That guy. He's not following us. The slope leading down to the intersection wasn't at all that steep. Several plainclothes detectives have been hiding amidst the crowd in the intersection as part of the kidnapping stakeout. Right now, Director Kuze is sending a message to all officers over the wireless, so the detectives have stopped to listen in. It's a bit unusual. An observant individual might notice. It was strange that the gunman hadn't bothered to pursue. That's why. Still, there was no time to worry about his behavior right now. Hitomi, can you still run? Yes, I'm alright. Then, this is our chance. This way! They needed to put plenty of distance behind them before the assassin came after them again. But also, needed to find the van again and rescue Hitomi's sister. Would they be able to find it and yet stay hidden from the man with the cane? I actually wasn't sure one way or the other, but with Hitomi in tow, he hurried onward along Center Kai. To be continued, huh? Okay, so someone else, to continue it, we have to play as someone else. There's one dude I haven't played as yet. I think Kano. No. What's his name? Nope. This guy. I haven't played as him yet. Osawa. Wealth, status, honor. None of these mean anything to me. All I want is a peaceful life. To put worry behind me, to stay calm and serene. To be free of worldly concerns. Free at any cost. A cheery rhythm pumped from the CD player set up against the study wall. It was the latest hit from Aya Kamiki, the songwriter sensation who was blowing up the pop charts. Kenji Osawa reached for the stereo remote on his desktop. He ratcheted the volume up a little louder. He looked like the sort of man who would be more interested in classical music, when in fact he was a huge fan of the girl rock popular with middle schoolers. Closing his eyes, he swayed back and forth in time with the music, humming his favorite lyrics under his breath. But his movements faltered. It's no use. Aya's voice usually soothed whatever ailed him, but today, even she couldn't help. Today, Osawa was a complete wreck in both body and mind. Uh-oh. Mounds of paperwork were scattered across the desktop in his study. All of it about viruses and vaccines. It had only been a week since he returned from a business trip to his company's branch office in the U.S., and he was slated to go back in another week's time. It was a truly staggering amount of work he needed to get through while he was at home. He picked up one of the papers, glanced at it aimlessly, then tossed it back into the desk. Slumping back in his chair, he let out a long, deep sigh. He was in no mental state to work right now. A faint knock at the door barely roused him from his torpor. "Director, may I come in?" It was his voice, his vice director, Mamoru Tanaka. "Sure, the door's open." Tanaka came to his study. "I know it's not a great time, but..." Osawa could barely make out his words. He tapped the remote, lowering the volume of the music. Tanaka continued apologetically. A call came in from the lab. They're hoping for a response to the email they sent yesterday. I'm sure they don't need it today. Apparently they do need an answer as soon as possible, sir. I did ask them to give you some more time, but I see, Osawa said wearily. All right then. Tanaka dipped his head slightly and slipped out of the room. Osawa contemplated his colleague. Tanaka was a man he could truly depend on. He has enough of his own work to do. He didn't need to come here again today, but he did. They had been working in close concert ever since Osawa had gotten back to Japan. Without Tanaka's support, there was no way he would be in the mindset to do any work at all right now. Sidling up to his computer, Osawa opened his email program and started answering the work-related messages. He reported on his business travel expenses, offered his opinions on capital investments, requested confirmation on current medicinal stockpiles. He worked with bleak detachment. None of this meant anything to him right now. Then a new email appeared in his new inbox. The sender was identified simply as A. Subject line read, 1 year ago, South Africa. The message body was blank, but there appeared to be multiple images attached. Ordinarily, Osawa would have deleted a message like this immediately, assuming that it contained some kind of virus. But the word South Africa drew his attention. Could this possibly be related to? He couldn't help but to wonder. For a long moment, he hovered the cursor over one of the image files. At last, as if spurred on by the upbeat rhythm in his ears, he double-clicked the mouse. Click, click. What is this? A grainy photograph showed a large room with a dozen or so people laid out in beds. It appeared to be some sort of medical ward. Osawa felt a strange flutter in his chest. He quickly opened another image. This one showed a close-up of one of the patients in his bed. Large red blotches covered his face. A large volume of blood appeared to be dripping from his ears and nostrils. A cold shudder ran up Osawa's spine. What the heck? These symptoms. Osawa opened up the remaining image files. Each new picture showed another of the patients. They all appeared to be teetering on the brink of death. There was no doubt about it. These people were infected with the UA virus. The UA virus belongs to family Filovorinidae, genus UA-like virus. UA-like virus is a member of the same family as the Ebola virus and causes UA virus fulminant hemorrhagic fever, It is capable of airborne transmission, although an infected individual cannot pass on the infection before symptoms manifest. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, have assigned the virus to risk group 4, a classification for the most dangerous infectious agents. I wonder if this virus has something to do with that girl being kidnapped. Does it all tie in? Questions tumbled through Osawa's mind. His fingers tapped out a quick message. He doubted he'd get a response, but might as well try. Who are you? Where are these images from? The UA virus got its name from a Swahili word for flower. Supposedly, this was based on the fact that the propagated form of the virus resembled the petals of a flower. Despite the flowery name, however, the disease was anything but pretty. UA didn't just mean flower, it also meant to kill. And as the name suggests, the virus had a mortality rate of 100% in those it managed to infect. Because most details regarding the UA virus have been suppressed, cases of UA infection are largely unknown to the world at large, because all patients known to be infected with the virus on official record have died within a short time frame. The mortality rate is given as 100%. As the incidence of known cases grows, the number may drop below 100%, but the mortality rate will likely remain extraordinarily high. Moreover, there was a very short incubation period between infection, the onset of symptoms, and death. Inhaled viral particles can spread from the lungs to the lymph nodes, and from there disperse throughout the body. The virus propagates in several places, including liver cells and macrophages, a component of the immune system, and destroys the endothelial cells within the blood vessels. Upon reaching the brain, it forms a neural sludge of blood mixed with other bodily fluids. Ugh. Within roughly 12 hours, bleeding would set in throughout the body, everywhere but the bones and muscles, with lethal results. Due to its incredibly high mortality rate, the disease's very existence had been kept hidden from public knowledge. Sawa's computer chimed to signify the arrival of a new email. Sender was A. Once again, the subject line read, 1 year ago, South Africa. Your crimes. My crimes? That left him only with further questions. He looked again at the images from the previous email. What makes any of this my crimes? You could see that the patient's bleeding was severe. He estimated that several hours had passed since the onset of the disease. It wouldn't be long before their lives were cut short. To feel that agony, that suffering, and then to perish. Am I to blame for that? Darling, do you have a moment? It was his wife, I. Yes, come in, give me just a second. Osara hurriedly closed the mail program. Even if this was nothing more than some sick prank, it wasn't anything he wanted his family to see. Especially not I. Alright, come in. But Osawa turned to see that I had already let herself in the study. Oh! The sharp sting of her perfume made him scrunch up his face for a moment. Have you reconsidered the whole America thing, she asked. This again? Osawa thought sullenly to himself. Please, he said. Can we not discuss this right now? If not now, then when? This isn't a decision to just make on your own. On his latest business trip, a major American pharmaceutical firm had attempted to headhunt him, asking him to join them and be among the top researchers in the world. The money and prestige held no interest for him, and he was reluctant to turn his back on Akoshi Pharmaceutical after his many years of service. Nonetheless, he was intrigued by the offer. It would mean the chance to conduct his virus research in a much better funded environment. Taking the job would necessitate relocating to the U.S., however. When he'd mentioned the possibility of immigrating, her opposition was understandable. Ai's father, Suguru Makino, was a member of Akoshi Pharmaceuticals' board of directors. No way was... Oh, shoot. That was too fast. Darling, please. I drew in closer to him. Think about it from my perspective. If you leave for America, what am I supposed to tell my father? He'd gotten so used to it, that grating whine of hers. Have you considered what might happen to Akoshi if you leave, dear? We can discuss that once all this is finished. You do remember that you're a director, right? I said. You have responsibility. Stop thinking about yourself so much. With a sour look, I turned and departed. Well, he had known that moving to America would never be a simple matter, regardless of what his wife thought about it. There was another reason, however, the antiviral agent that he had developed at Akoshi. After the UA virus was discovered, infectious disease research facilities worldwide had thrown themselves into a top-secret effort to develop a vaccine. Therapeutic drug used to treat viral infections. Vaccines function by safely introducing a harmless or attenuated version of a virus or other pathogen into the human body. This triggers the body to produce antibodies against the pathogen, making it difficult for the dangerous version to take hold. But Makino had ordered Osawa to work on creating an antiviral agent, not a vaccine. The vaccine immunized the subject in order to prevent infection in the first place. It was a so-called wonder drug for combating the virus itself. Creating such a drug was far easier said than done. Developing the antiviral had been a long, arduous road. Only after years of research had Osawa's team succeeded in identifying a substance that might qualify as an antiviral agent for UA. In theory, if it was administered during the virus's initial stages, 100% recovery could be something. It also suggests an 8% survival rate for patients treated shortly after the onset of symptoms. But there was a fatal flaw with the new antiviral agent. The side effects on the body were unusually potent. If it was administered in amounts beyond a certain threshold, it was linked to life-threatening complications. For a time in the research, it wasn't an impasse. And it seemed that the drug had to be administered in that volume. And then Osawa had received some fortuitous news. Akashi Pharmaceuticals' nanotechnology branch had engineered a cutting-edge device known as the DDS. Technology created and or operated on an extremely small scale. Drug delivery system. Saga had jumped on it immediately by administrating his antiviral agent with the nanotech DDS. He was able to use smaller amounts of the drug to perish. The procedure was a huge success. There was a marked increase in the drug's efficiency along with expected decrease in adverse side effects. Effects have been confirmed via animal testing on monkeys. Now the antiviral is ready for the final development stages, clinical trials on humans. The very existence of this new wonder drug is still a secret. A new drug is being prepared for government approval. After it has been tested on animals, it must pass the test on humans. Yep. No doubt Akoshi's leadership would be reluctant to see Osawa, the drug's lead researcher, transferred to another company. Still, once the antiviral was out of the development and announced to the public, Osawa would be free and clear. For that very reason, he was loath to cause any friction over the drug right now. Still, wasn't outside the realm of possibility. Once an antiviral out of development and announced to the public, Osawa would be free and clear, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Osawa called up Tanaka over the intercom. There's something I want to show you. Could you come in here? He needed a second opinion and Tanaka could be riled upon. Osawa opened the door. The moment Tanaka knocked, he looked around before unshearing his voice director inside. What's this about, sir? This. Osawa showed him one of the images. Tanaka's face went pale. It can't be. Tanaka clearly recognized the symptoms of the UA virus. Any idea what this is about? Osaka asked. No, sir. These images were just emailed to me. The subject line says 1 year ago, South Africa. That will put it around the same time as the most recent run of infections, wouldn't it, sir? But that information isn't. Tanaka trailed off. Osawa nodded. The thing I don't understand is why these pictures were sent to me. So I'll open the other email from A. The second message I got says these pictures are my crimes. I'll look into this on my end, sir. Like I said, he hesitated uncomfortably. Sir, just to make sure, are you asking about what I think you're asking about? Understood. Don't worry. I won't trouble you. I appreciate that, sir. Visibly relieved, Tanaka left the study. And we are going to stop it here for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. My name is Raven from the Sky. If you enjoyed the episode, drop a like and subscribe to the channel and the series grow. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.